Hi, Alex. How are you doing today?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Pretty good. Um, so first of all, I just wanted to thank you for taking some time out of your day to talk with me. Um, should be pretty simple today. I just wanted to, get to know you a little bit and just go over some things with the company and see what you like about it, what maybe you don't like about it, and just, see where you're at with everything.
Sure.
So would it be all right if I went through some questions with you?
That's fine by me.
Awesome. Would you mind just briefly describing your position?
Sure. I work at Luxottica, which is a sunglass company. Many of you know I'm a data analyst for them, located in Mason, Ohio. Uh, in my position specifically, I work alongside IT to aid operations managers in making business decisions based on the data that I present them. The raw data itself isn't structured um, to be readily understood. So it's my job to make it digestible for them in order to make business decisions.
Nice. Sounds like a really interesting position. Um, so
Yeah,
one
it can
thing
be
that I
stressful
read
at
up
times.
on Luxottica, just doing some basic research, I know that they possess a huge part of the eyewear market, somewhere around 70%. Why do you think that's the case?
Yeah, I actually the other day I actually looked something up and it doesn't give you an exact number, but I read 80. I mean upwards of 80.
Wow.
So it's like I said, it's not a for sure number, but it's high. Um, in my part of the business, I don't really see that that much as far as why our market share is the way it is. You would see in where the fashion, and that's why I believe we stand out is we have customizable eyewear. Some people don't have that option. We have different brands to choose from. Here, well, guess what? There, and so I think having that diversity of brands where you can pick to whatever you'd like is kind of a focus why we're so successful. Some might consider it a monopoly of some sorts, just because we've bought out so many companies. But I think having that diverse um, way of marketing, just you whatever the customer wants is basically they can get it. And I think that's what stands out with Luxottica.
Nice. Nice. So, what other companies have you worked for
It,
previous, to Luxottica? Maybe your last like one or two before.
yeah, so I actually I this is my first job out of college. Fortunately, I was um, lucky enough to find something. I was a pizza delivery guy leading up to that, but I had a couple co-ops before. One being at Honeywell up in Mason, not even two streets away from where I am now. And then another one was I was a business process analyst for Honeywell, and then I was an estimator over at Lithgow Restoration Technologies, which is basically a construction company and an
Nice.
estimator for a construction company.
So what made you stick with Luxottica then? You worked with these other companies and then you got to Luxottica even after co-oping with these. What made you stick with them?
Um, uh, I mean, initially I was looking for anything coming out of college. That's
Right.
kind of the goal. But additionally, onto that, I think it highlighted my skill set. It was up my alley. Um, when I was in college, I focused primarily on business analytics. Throughout college, I could go the OM route or the IM route, and I had some what we called BOKs, the breadth of knowledge, which um, went towards your degree, but you can take an assortment of courses. And I went the business analytics side. So staying in that alley, the two other jobs didn't really highlight my strengths as much. Whereas this, I'm good at it and I'm getting better at it and I know I'm good at it. So I think that's kind of the reason why I found my niche here at Luxottica.
Nice. Nice. That's good to hear. It's good that you found something that you really enjoy doing in this role.
Right. Right.
So on the other kind of flip side of things, what are some challenges that you face in your position? I mean, I know that you like doing what you do, but is there anything that, really gets to you that's really hard?
I mean, day to day, it's pretty crazy.
I can
So
understand
there
that.
are different, right. So there are a lot of challenges day to day, and it could be different. But one that I run into a lot is since we are the ones to interpret the data, we're assumed to know why the numbers are the way they are. Um, there could be promos, there could be business decisions there that we're not aware of at all. And system issues happen as well. And those can skew up our numbers a lot. And they come to us saying like, why are these the way they are? And it's difficult because then we have to work with IT and we have to work with, other people that know these things. Maybe the operations managers, they say, yeah, we just completely shifted our business in this direction. This is why this is the way it is. We're not communicated. We are to a degree, but not to the high level that we need to understand. Another big challenge that we face is language barrier. So
Oh,
we're
yeah.
based in Milan, and so we have meetings with people in Milan. Their native language is Italian, and so sometimes we'll have interpreters. Sometimes we won't have interpreters, and they just speak broken English. And so having that language barrier is also a big challenge when we're in meetings together.
Yeah, I can imagine that could be extremely difficult to overcome, but yeah. And I'm guessing, you have to talk to those people a lot. So hopefully
Just was
you're
in
getting
two
better at
meetings earlier. Yeah, I was in two meetings earlier today with them, and it was yeah, fun.
it. But anyway, so I do know that the company offers other products that aren't eyewear products. Um, how successful has the company been in releasing like those new lines of products? You own 80% of the eyewear market, around 80%. But then you've got these other products. How successful has it been, if you are aware at all, or if you can give me any kind of insight, how successful have those products been, those new lines?
Right. So it's funny that you asked because I'm focused solely on the eyewear industry.
Oh, okay.
If that goes to show where we're focused at. Um, However, I personally I've bought more clothing from Luxottica than I have eyewear. So it's kind of like it tears at my strings because I like their clothing a lot.
Right.
Um, I also get discounts, so that helps a lot.
Definitely.
But I believe that I believe that their clothing line is great. I forget what the initial question was. If it's successful outside the eyewear,
Right. And I mean, it's
so
okay if
yes, right. I don't know the numbers or anything like that
right.
personally. Like for me, yes, I look into their clothing as well. Their Oakley attire. I'm big into skiing and stuff. We have our own stores within our company, like within our building. We have our own stores. Our Oakley stores, they don't highlight their glasses. They highlight their clothing more than anything.
Wow. Okay.
So that's like a big brand. I guess it really depends on the brand, but that's a big brand that wouldn't per se highlight as much their eyewear, but more so their clothing.
That's interesting. It really is. So going sort of back to the eyewear where you're at, with 80%, I hate to keep harping on this, but the main business, folks focuses around the eyewear. Do you believe that that product line is somewhat limiting the company in any way?
Well, while I do believe that being focused on one product could be limiting the success of the company as a whole, I think being the best at what you do is the better option. And I mean, you're also talking to somebody who graduated through the IM with an IM degree, and we had to do something similar with a capstone. We had to go through a business simulation, and there was 4 products in the simulation, and it seemed like one of our products was doing outstanding, and the other 3 were okay, but there was one that was just in the dough, basically. And if we focus on this one product, we're going to be on top here. So that's what we did. That just, I mean, that's just a little scope. It was a simulation within a capstone, but I think if you're the best at what you do in one certain area, not only do we realize it like as a company and we see the profits, but I think the customer realizes it too. And like, okay, if I'm going to get sunglasses or if I'm going to get any prescription glasses, I'm going to go here because I know I'm going to get what I want here. And if I don't find it, I can always just go here or here or here. It's like I said, I think being the best at what you do pays more dividends than diversifying.
Right. And that makes sense. It's cool that you had that insight, through that capstone where you were able to experiment with something like that.
For sure.
So yeah, that's really cool. So if you could make the decision, which product lines would you maybe add to Luxottica that doesn't have to deal with the eyewear? Just in general, it doesn't have to be anything in specific, just anything that you can think of that maybe would fall under the Luxottica brand that maybe you would think could be successful.
Like a couple years ago, we had actually bought out a brand called Costa, and they're located down in Florida, and they are specific, like fishing stuff.
Oh, wow.
So they do like rods, they do hats, they do clothing as far as like when you're out deep sea fishing, like they have that like long sleeve that like, I don't know, like absorbs the sunlight so that you don't get whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So they have that part of there too. And they actually put eyewear in there as well. So, I mean, I feel like the sky's the limit. I know like that is sort of not a niche for Luxottica, and going out on a limb and saying, okay, we're going to buy a fishing brand.
Yeah.
You can go somewhere like Cabela's or Bass Pro and Luxottica for your equipment.
Right.
You can, like, just to say something that we haven't done, maybe something with like outdoors, like Bass Pro. Do something alongside those where it's like, okay, we're not only glasses, but we can get you your, camo, whatever you need.
Right.
I wouldn't go as far as, buying guns from Luxottica or anything, but I would say sky's the limit. But if I were to go somewhere with that kind of outdoor feeling, if that's where they're going with Costa, if we want to build onto that, I would do somewhere more like Bass Pro, Cabela's niche.
Nice. I like that a lot. That's interesting because I didn't know that was a kind of product that Luxottica even had. So it's very interesting. So I just kind of wanted to wrap things up a little bit. So based on your responses, is it fair to say that maybe you would be interested in increasing your product line outside of eyewear?
Knowing specifically how successful Costa has been, I've only been with Luxottica for 2.5 years. Costa didn't even exist when I initially started.
Oh wow!
And
so it's been fairly new released.
Oh yeah. Wow. This was within 2 years. But from it being an absolute nothing to just based on my experience, it's probably our 3rd or 4th best brand.
Wow. Profit
wise. And that's up there with Target, that's up there with Lens Crafters, that's up there with Ray-Ban and Oakley. They compete. So as far as diversifying and going out there, for the company itself, I would not take it off the table because that's absolutely insane. The clientele is completely different. They're responsive, and you have to adjust to your clientele. This isn't the glasses industry anymore. Like, this is the fishing wear industry. You'd have to know certain ways in how your customer thinks and things like that. So if I were to like add another product line, I would definitely look into those kinds of things because they're definitely a different breed of people.
Wow. Wow. That's interesting to hear. It really is. Definitely not what I was expecting. So that's something interesting. So if there was maybe a way that I could convince you that a product line would definitely be successful within Luxottica, would that be important to you? Would that be something that you would maybe bring up in a meeting? Is that something that maybe, that again would be important to you, or something that you think could be successful if I were to think, if I would present you with some ideas or anything like that as far as a new product line?
Yeah, I would never keep it off the table, especially how our company is. I mean, it's not considered a monopoly. However, we buy everyone out, it seems. And as I mentioned, we don't stick to just eyewear. I mean, yes, that is our primary focus. However, we have made profits elsewhere. And it was from people just like you that come to us and say, hey, we got an idea. I think we can do something here. And it's paid dividends for us. And so, of course, we'd have to hit certain things. Like I said, the customer aspect, how the clientele is, how would we produce profit with your new product line? Those kinds of things. We've never shied away from anything like that. So yes, I would definitely make it'd be an interesting point.
Yeah. Well, that's great. That's pretty much all I wanted to ask for you today. Again, I really do thank you for taking the time. I know that you're busy, you're, multitasking, doing a lot
I'm
of
at work right now.
Yeah. So I really do. I appreciate you taking the time to talk with me and answer these questions with me. Just sort of gathering together what you need and everything like that. So just assessing those things, I really do appreciate it. And just wondering if you have any questions for me. Other than that, I've asked you pretty much everything.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna get back to work, but I appreciate the time.
All right. Thank you so much, Alex. Have a great rest of your day.
Yeah. Take care.